game over.
Safety played a substantial role in its development of the VX Commodore, with ABS standard on all models, the first for an Australian manufactured vehicle. And it was the VX that formed basis for the new VU ute and the first new ute for Holden in 10 years. The most recognised commercial in the irony of having a plane tonight. Unfortunately, I couldn't get them here tonight, but that's the best thing I could do. The VX range saw HSV offer its first coupe, and also the introduction of the LS1 V8 in the GDS, naming it the fastest HSV ever. VY gave Australia the one-tonner and the first ever four-door ute, the Crewman, which also led to the release of the electronically controlled all-wheel drive cross-track. The GTO coupe returned and the Avalanche was released, along with the first all-wheel drive coupe 4. The GDS now offered 300 kilowatts and the Senator was split into two entry models. And a high and luxury model named the Senator Signature. This would now make it the biggest range of HSV variants in history, with a total of 16 models available. Now VZ was the final chapter of the third generation, with a new Alloy Tech V6 engine, a 6-litre Gen-F2, and it also now included new safety features like electronic stability control and park assist. We also welcomed HSV with the release of the limited edition SV6000. So 2006. That was the year that Australia mourned the loss of both Steve Irwin and driving legend Peter Brock. It was also the year, Mike Gravatt, that Queensland defeated New South Wales 16-14 in the State of Origin decider, and Queensland then went on to winning 8 consecutive years, in case you didn't know. But this year, this was the year that Holden introduced us to the $1 billion baby.
It's the dawn of a new age in driving. Introducing the all-new Holden Commodore. Designed from the word go to be one of the most exciting cars in the world. With linear control suspension and electronic stability program for added safety. So after 6 years and over $1 billion, it leaves the competition in the stone age. The all-new Holden Commodore. Go like never before.
I still remember the release and the launch of the VE. I believe it was August 18 of 2006, and it was a great launch for Holden. The VE was the first Australian designed Commodore. It also became the 5th Commodore to be awarded Wheels Car of the Year. And in 2007, the VEU went into production, followed by the Sportswagon in 2008, and by 2010, Series 2 was now released. HSV's new range of E-Series came with a unique LED taillights, side vents, and a new 6-speed auto transmission. Magnetic ride control was added on the E-Series to improve its ride and handling, and then E-Series became the most expensive in HSV history, with the MRC suspension alone costing $4.5 million. August of 2008, HSV's newest flagship model. It arrived, the W427, with a power output of 375 kilowatts in its 7-litre LS7 V8. The W427 was the most powerful car ever made in Australia and sold for just a tad over $150,000. The VF, guys. The VF was released in 2013. It saw changes to the model lineup with the deletion of the Berliner nameplate. and the base model renamed from Amiga to Evoque. Standard features across the range included front and rear parking sensors, reverse camera, and auto park assist. The colour V and SSV redline also received forward and reverse collision alert, and a colour heads-up display as standard. It was now that the HSV GDS was named the most powerful production car ever built in Australia with 430 kilowatts, just a tad more than the VV.
Have you ever woken up and thought, how did I get here? What is this life? Another day of going through the motions. Why do we spend more time staring at the screen instead of the view? How is it that we can have hundreds of friends online, yet only count our true friends on one hand? We're surrounded by naysayers, do-gooders, power trippers, the fun police. What happened to the music? Where's the rock? Where's the dance? Do we live in a world so cold we no longer appreciate the wisdom of age or revel in the naivety of youth? Why do we obsess with travelling thousands of miles on a plane when the most amazing place on earth starts at the end of our street? And cars, what happened to the thrill, the camber, the straight, being gripped by the wheel? Cars have become smaller, quieter, vanilla. Well, here's something for those who decided not to resign from life. We make cars, performance cars, cars with punch, cars that sound wicked and drive like they yearn to be driven. And you know what? They're built right here, by us. So ask yourself this, do I want to just live? Or do I want to be alive? Well, if you want to make a stand, then it's time to take a seat. Because this is the greatest performance production car ever built in Australia.
I have to say, Holden HSV, amazing cars, and I guess it's hard to sort of walk out tonight and get yourself into a four-cylinder. So guys, the last locally built Holden Commodore is now ready. And after 37 years in the making, Holden has developed the fastest, the most powerful, and the most advanced Commodore in history. And I can guarantee you won't be leaving quietly. It was 1978 that Australia welcomed the first Holden Commodore. The Commodore was Australia's top-selling car for 15 consecutive years. VF Series 2 now offers a V8 engine with 304 kilowatts, making it the most powerful engine in Holden history. The Holden Commodore has claimed 23 Bathurst victories. Holden has built 3.13 million Commodores. The Australian car market was led by Holden in 2002 in its biggest year on record, selling a massive 94,642 Commodores. The GDS is the most powerful production vehicle ever built in Australia with 430 kilowatts now standard. Holden is here to stay, and with 24 new models by 2020, 2015, we reveal Holden's gift to Australia, the Series 2 VF Commodore.
This job up here is job number one, the very first job that we've produced off the assembly line here at Dandenong.
please turn around. Holden's future begins now.